What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I'm going to do my schedule prediction for the LSU Tigers. But if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And by doing so, it really helps out my channel, and it helps me grow as a content creator. Well, the LSU Tigers, a lot of hype coming into this upcoming season, and rightfully so. LSU won the SEC West Division last season with first-year head coach Brian Kelly. So, uh, great feat for Brian Kelly coming into the SEC, uh, getting better talent at LSU than he uh, previously had at Notre Dame. And he's doing a very, very good job recruiting, doing a very, very good job in his first year. So um, what can the LSU Tigers do this upcoming season? They got a lot of production coming back, guys. And I'm going to just read off some stats before I get into the schedule. But LSU is definitely a team they can run it back this upcoming season. Definitely got the talent there, and definitely gonna be a team to watch this upcoming season. On offense, they got 8 guys returning back. One of those guys, Jaden Daniels, transferred from Arizona State. Guy, they could definitely work on his passing, but no doubt very dynamic with his run game. They got Malik Neighbors coming back. Uh, Josh Williams was a guy that was productive last season. LSU is no stranger to talent, on both sides of the ball. They got some great guys at the wide receiver position. So LSU is just as talented as any other team in the SEC. And of course, on defense, they got some guys come back, namely Mason Smith. I think this guy's going to anchor that defensive line. He was definitely missed last season when he got injured in the first game. Definitely a missing piece on that defense that's returning. So he's going to bolster that defense. Got another guy in Harold Perkins. This guy did a phenomenal job as a freshman. And LSU is definitely going to be a team to look out for, especially in the SEC West. Overall, they're bringing back 13 guys as starters. Percentage-wise, they're bringing back 81% on their offensive side of the ball on production, and they're bringing back 60% on defense. So LSU is definitely a team that's primed this upcoming season to make some noise. They went 10-4 last season overall. They went 6-3 in the SEC. So uh, they definitely want to get another crack at it and potentially win the SEC. Made it to the SEC championship game. But they had a couple of losses, going up to that game. Took a loss to Florida State, took a loss to Tennessee, Texas A&M, which was a head scratcher in my opinion, and of course, lost in a losing effort, against Georgia. But put up some good points on Georgia. Great Georgia defense. So LSU, um, definitely a team to look out for this upcoming season. Looked at a lot of preseason, rankings. LSU is definitely up there. So let's get to the schedule and see what LSU is looking like. First matchup, September 3rd against the Florida State Seminoles in Orlando, Florida. This was a close matchup last season. LSU lost this matchup. Lost 24-23. It was razor sharp. LSU, in my opinion, is going to be primed for this game. They took the loss last season. Florida State, no doubt, is bringing a lot of firepower back on their team, as well. Got Jordan Travis over there. They got a lot of guys. Trey Benson at the running back position. They just got a lot of talent, very, very tall wide receivers. Florida State, definitely a team in the ACC, in my opinion, that's going to make a run for it, going against the Clemson Tigers in their division. So you got two teams, trying to prove to the world how great they are. And it's going to be a barometer, in my opinion. I think the winner of this matchup between these two is definitely going to set up very, very nicely going forward, for the rest of the season. It's going to be a game where it's going to test each other, test each other's team, as far as where they, rank, as far as, uh, versus other teams. And I think LSU is going to get this victory right here. Like I said, I think one of the key things for this winning this matchup against the Florida State Seminoles is going to be getting Mason Smith back on defense. Definitely a guy like that as a leader. It's definitely going to be dependent on to anchor that front end of that defense. Football is a game of playing in the trenches, and I think LSU is going to pull this one out. I think they're going to get the win over a great Florida State team, and it's going to set them up, for the rest of the season, as far as the confidence. September 9th, they play against Grambling State Tigers. Should be an easy matchup for the LSU Tigers. Should win this game. Um, Basically get some guys in, get some experience, just get a lot of playing time and rotation going on, to build depth. September 16th, it's going to be at Mississippi State, versus the Bulldogs in Starkville. Uh, Mississippi State is a very, very hard place to play with the Cowbells. Mississippi State is bringing back Will Rogers at quarterback, a veteran guy at the offensive side of the ball. But they're going to have a new head coach in Zach Arnett. He's Mississippi State's defensive coordinator. He got promoted to the head coach after Mike Leach passed away. I think this Mississippi State is going to be a different team. They're not going to have the same offensive, philosophy. They're bringing in Kevin Barbay from Appalachian State. He's definitely going to bring difference to the offense, and it won't be an air raid offense anymore. So Mississippi State, definitely a team that normally, in my opinion, would give LSU problems. They always play them tough, and it could be an interesting matchup. Like I said, having Will Rogers and they bring it back Jaquavius Marks. So they got the guys, offensively, but I think the change at head coach and change of, offensive philosophy might catch up to Mississippi State in this matchup. And I got LSU winning this matchup, considering, the talent. LSU is very, very talented. They basically got the same guys from last year. I think LSU is going to be able to do whatever they want to do this upcoming season. They got a lot of guys that started on their offensive line last season, and they're coming back. So a lot of production come back on that offense, and you got to have a great offense to go against Mississippi State's defense. And I see LSU handling Mississippi State on the road. September 23rd, LSU plays against the Arkansas Razorbacks at home. Arkansas, another team that's, trying to build their program back up. They got some offensive production coming back in KJ Jefferson and Rocket Sanders. 1-2 punch at the running game, for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Very physical team, very line of scrimmage team, that build their bread and butter on running the ball and beating you at the line of scrimmage. Sam Pittman brought in new offensive coordinator Dan Enos, great offensive mind. He's going to be working with KJ Jefferson. I think KJ is going to improve as far as throwing the ball. Arkansas can definitely be a team that's going to be lethal this upcoming season. But they're bringing in a new defensive coordinator, a younger guy. Question marks on Arkansas's defense. Their defense wasn't really that good last season, and they lost games because of it. In this matchup, since it's at home, I get LSU win this matchup. It could be a close one. Arkansas is one of those teams that plays teams very, very tough. LSU coming off of, in my opinion, a tough physical matchup against Mississippi State, but I think LSU is going to cruise against the Arkansas Razorbacks. I just don't see them having enough offensive firepower to be able to keep up with LSU this upcoming season. September 30th, at Ole Miss. LSU got to go on the road to Oxford. Ole Miss, a team, can be sneaky good this upcoming season. Ole Miss was able to beat them last season. No, I'm sorry. Ole Miss lost to them last season. I'm sorry. They lost 45-20. Ole Miss just completely got drugged, in my opinion, by LSU. Ole Miss this upcoming season, they're going to be different. Bringing in, new defensive coordinator, Pete Golden. Pete Golden, previously coming from Alabama. Against, a lot of people's, thoughts, he was able to have, productive defenses at Alabama, just not to the Alabama standard, that most Alabama fans would like. but he's no slouch, and I think he's going to greatly improve Ole Miss's defense. But Ole Miss offensively had one of the best, had in my opinion the best running back last season, all in college football, and Quinshon Judkins. That guy's a freshman, was just absolutely amazing. Ole Miss had the third best running game in the country last season. So, and plus they're bringing in some guys from the transfer portal. Got Spencer Sanders, great guy from Oklahoma State. Um, I think he's going to be the starter. They also have Jackson Dart, and they brought in quarterback from LSU. So LSU is going to be looking at this game and going into this matchup on the road. Lane Kiffin's great at scheming offenses, but I got LSU beating Ole Miss on the road, and LSU is going to advance. And how many games is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I got LSU being 5-0 at this point. October 7th, uh, LSU goes on the road again to Missouri to play the Missouri Tigers. Eli Drinkwitz. Missouri is a team can be sneaky good. I think they're going to be very, very good on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, I'm not so sure. But Missouri gave Georgia problems last season. But they got to get more consistent. Missouri, in my opinion, could be a tough game for LSU going on the road. But I don't see how Missouri would be able to hang with LSU. So I got LSU winning that matchup. Saturday, October 14th, LSU hosts the Auburn Tigers, the Tiger Bowl. Auburn bringing in new head coach, Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze is a great offensive mind. Got Philip Montgomery on the offensive side of the ball. Got Ron Roberts on the defensive side of the ball. Auburn, it's a team. Don't know what to expect. Bringing in new guys, but I expect the offense to be really, really good. Auburn Tigers, I think defensively they're going to be good with their new defensive coordinator coming from Baylor. I'm not too sure about Auburn this upcoming season beating the LSU Tigers on the road, though. Not at home. Could be an interesting game. I think it's going to be close at first, but I think LSU with their talent is going to be able to pull away. And I got the LSU Tigers winning that matchup against the Auburn Tigers. Next matchup, October 21st, against the Army Black Knights. This is another matchup where I feel like LSU should win. And after playing those road games and then finishing off with a home game against the Auburn Tigers, I think LSU takes it, easy. Get the starters in the game, get the game out of reach for the Army Black Knights, and then just rest up. Get the younger guys come in there, get some playing time, and just rest up for their next big matchup that they're going to have. And of course, on October 28th, they're going to get an off week, so that's going to be their bye week. And comes at a perfect time, always every year, right before their big matchup against my Alabama Crimson Tide. This time they go on the road to Tuscaloosa to play the Alabama Crimson Tide. Last year they beat Alabama. Close matchup last season. They beat Alabama 32-31 in overtime. LSU, like I said, going to be a very, very tough team to beat this upcoming season. But in this matchup, I got Alabama winning. I think Alabama's going to have revenge on their minds. I think at this time, Alabama's going to be pretty much set. The offense is going to jail. I think Alabama's defense is going to be really, really good, early on in the season. And I think it's going to be tough. It's tough to beat Nick Saban twice. The only head coach that was able to do that back-to-back was Hugh Freeze at Auburn. It's going to be tough trying to beat Nick Saban twice. And I think Alabama is going to get the victory. I think it's going to be a close victory. I think LSU is going to put up a great fight. Like I said, they bring back a lot of production offensively. And it's basically, in my opinion, who's going to win the line of scrimmage. Like I said, LSU having Mason Smith on their defensive line is going to be key for them. Their defense, the only knock I have, how well will LSU be on the back end of the defense this upcoming season? and for Alabama, how will Alabama's passing game be? But I predict Alabama is going to go back to a run game, and I think Alabama is going to be greatly improved on the offensive line. That's going to be fun to watch, Alabama's offensive line versus LSU's defensive line. But I think I got Alabama win this matchup, and LSU takes the loss there. November 11th, another great game. LSU plays against the Florida Gators at home. Um, Florida, a team that wasn't really good last season. They had Anthony Richardson last season, but he's no longer with the team. They brought in Graham Mertz as a potential guy to be a starter at the quarterback position from Wisconsin. Graham Mertz, in my opinion, wasn't really that good, while he was at Wisconsin. So he's definitely coming to a team in Florida that's surrounded by talent. And the Florida Gators, I feel like they got some soul searching they got to do. Of course, Billy Napier, great recruiter. They're doing phenomenal in recruiting right now. Um, Florida had a really, really good run game last season, and they lost a lot of that production from last season. So how good would the Gators be? They have since brought in defensive coordinator Austin Armstrong. This is a great young guy, a great defensive mind. He's definitely, I believe, going to improve Florida's defense overall. But I just find it hard to pick the Florida Gators to beat LSU. Like I said, LSU is going to be really, really good on both sides of the ball. And I just think the LSU Tigers is going to beat the Florida Gators this upcoming season. Florida has struggled to beat LSU on a consistent basis. If I'm not mistaken, the last couple times, I think Florida's just beaten LSU like 2 times out of almost a decade. It's almost unheard of. So I got LSU win this matchup at home. Another home victory. November 18th, LSU Tigers plays against the Georgia State Panthers. Another matchup where LSU should win. Should be a cakewalk. Georgia State could potentially try to, make it difficult for LSU, but LSU is just going to be way too talented for the Panthers. And their last matchup on November 25th, they play against the Texas A&M Aggies. The Texas A&M Aggies brings back the most production out of all the SEC teams this upcoming season. Texas A&M has since brought in Bobby Petrino as their offensive coordinator. Bobby Petrino is a great offensive mind. Jimbo Fisher, has brought him in to help with the offense. Their offense was kind of stagnant. It was really, really bad last season. And if Jimbo Fisher gives all the keys to Bobby Petrino to run the offense, Texas A&M is going to be really, really good. Despite all of the transfers that they had, leave their program, Texas A&M is going to be really, really good defensively as well. So this is going to be a good matchup. The Tigers host them at home. Texas A&M, like I said, potential starter I'm thinking is going to be Connor Wayman. Texas A&M could be that team that could potentially knock off the LSU Tigers, and I think this is going to be a close matchup. But in the end, I got the LSU Tigers win this matchup. And of course, if LSU were to win the SEC West, uh, somewhere in December 2nd or something like that, they will be able to play in the SEC championship, a second year if they were to win the SEC West. So far, I got LSU going 11-1 with one loss coming to the Alabama Crimson Tide. And if things go their way, it could be a scenario where LSU can get back in there. Say Alabama gets 2 losses, even though they beat LSU, if LSU is sitting there 11-1, they can still go to the SEC championship. So, looking at this schedule, the toughest matchups, in my opinion, for LSU. Sneaky game going on the road to Mississippi State. I think, like I said, Alabama, if they were to beat Alabama, that would be a huge hurdle. And Florida Gators are always a team that plays LSU tight, but LSU has the upper hand in that matchup. So the toughest games, in my opinion, is going to be the Mississippi State game, um, the Alabama game, and the Texas A&M game. LSU can get past those matchups. Look out. You're looking at a team, like I said, and a lot of people's, top 10, as far as, teams that can make the playoffs. LSU could do it. Brian Kelly on his second year, if he was able to make it back to the SEC championship, that'd be huge for the LSU Tigers. But what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And once again, if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll definitely be back with more college football content. Thanks, guys. Have a blessed day.